Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in to Speed Racing Network tonight. My name's Jake Rowell. I'm here with my broadcast partner, Dean Brummett, bringing you the Sadie's All Out Fight 150 tonight at Daytona International Speedway for our Xfinity Series, running 60 laps around this 2.5-mile super speedway. How you doing this evening, Dean?
Doing all right, Jake. How about yourself this evening, buddy?
Oh, you can't complain, especially when you're up here in the booth getting ready to watch a Daytona plate race with these Xfinity guys here in SRN.
I know it's pretty awesome, man. I mean, the Real Cup Series gets to have a rain delay, and we get to come out and run 60 laps in their place. And so I believe that's kind of what happened. Nobody asked for it, but here we are for the second night in a row.
No kidding, my man. We got lucky with it. So we're bringing you a great race to, fill in that space of the second duel tonight. I'm interested to see what this race is going to be like after last night. We had a heck of a truck race, so can't imagine it's going to be anything short of that. I think we're going to have action all over the place, and same good racing. Hopefully, it's going to be another close finish because man, it was wild last night.
It certainly was, Jake. We got to see so much action out on the track last night, and these cars are completely different than anything that we got to see truck racing wise last night. Aerodynamics, overheating, the package. It's going to be a just crazy show tonight. Hopefully we get to see a little more green flag racing than what we did, but at the same time, we're all out here for a great cause in terms of Sadie this evening. Jake, won't you tell the people at home here how they can help us, Sadie?
Absolutely. So, how you can help Sadie out? Obviously, she's dealing with leukemia, or she's battling leukemia right now. So, we're raising awareness for her and her family. Just trying to help her out and give them support any way we can. So you got 4 different ways to do that tonight through the rest of the week. And first off, you can go out to Flavorbomb's website, fbbbq.com. You can buy any of their seasonings they have on their website. They're helping it out, or helping Sadie out with that. So you can help out that way, as well as you can go buy some raffle tickets on our own website at speedracingnetwork.com. We got 3 great raffles of great prizes you could win. Each ticket is only $10. You can buy as many as you want. You can buy one, however many you want. So you can go buy those there. And then, if you just feel like donating directly to the cause, you don't want to get a raffle ticket. You just want to help out right away and donate. You can do that again on our website. And lastly, we just ask that you share our Facebook posts. That way, our posts get in front of even more eyes. Family, friends of the drivers. If everyone shares it, this thing can just grow so much bigger than, just our community here in our league here on iRacing.
That's correct, Jake. And, for anybody who's not familiar at home with the actual league itself, this is the Speed Racing Network Xfinity Series. It's going to follow a 20-week schedule. We're going to have fixed setups. And what that means, for those of you who may not be aware, that means that all the setups themselves, every car in this field is identical. They may have different manufacturers and different paint schemes, but they're going to drive exactly the same way. Now, they have one fast repair tonight at Daytona. That fast repair is going to be absolutely critical. If you go through and you get a little bit of a scrape, you get into a wreck, your car's messed up, a fast repair allows you to come down pit road and basically climb out of the driver's seat of one car right into a fresh one and go back out and compete. Now, with this series itself, it's $10 a week to enter. You can enter at speedracingnetwork.com. Now, with that $10 entry, it's not just to come in and have fun. Jake, we pay out each and every week. We pay out money to the winner at the end of the season, $500 to our champion. And you don't just have to race this alone, man. I mean, we've got 5 people allowed on one team. But that team doesn't just walk away with nothing. At the end of the year, one team, the most consistent team, is going to get $200 to split amongst themselves for the team championship.
Exactly. And like you were saying towards the end of that slide, we pay out obviously our season champion driver-wise as well as team. But each and every week you can come out here and race in our league races and leave the race with money in your pocket. Obviously, first place you get $50 as well as a free entry into the Cup Series race on Sunday night. So, if you win the race, you get $50 as well as another shot to go race Sunday night for even more money, Dean. I mean, there's money all over the place if you ask me. It's a great opportunity. Second place 30, 20 for third, 15 for fourth, and then $10 each for fifth and sixth. So top 6 gets paid out. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, for sure, Jake. And a top six here at Daytona is pretty impressive. But what makes it even more impressive is the Sparkle and Shine Mobile Detailing Hard Charger Award. Last night in the truck race, if anybody tuned into that one, our driver who I believe finished, what was it, Jake? Second or third actually won that. Started almost dead last, managed to avoid the carnage, and drove up and in finishing in that position took home a little extra cash. Offered to donate it actually to Sadie's All Out Fight, I believe, or maybe I had a different driver, but whichever way, there is going to be $15 donated by Sparkle and Shine to Sadie's All Out Fight. Just a little more in that pot to wind up helping this beautiful young lady.
Yep, you got that right, Dean. And then again, Silverback Tax Solution came on board for this week for the fundraising help towards Sadie and her family. So any driver today tonight that finishes on the lead lap and has 0 incident points, that means they haven't hit the wall, haven't hit another driver, haven't been in a wreck or anything, or gone through the grass. If you have 0 incident points, Silverback Tax Solution is going to be donating $20 for every single driver. It just reminds me of the MLB home run derby during the All-Star break with the State Farm balls. If that they hit a home run with those, more money was donated to cause. So that's what Silverback is hopped aboard this week at Daytona, and they're helping out the cause too.
They sure are, Jake. And, the best part about being in Daytona is the fact of being at the beach. And when I think of the beach, I got to think of that tropical setting. And this week we've got our halfway leader, Tropical Smoothie Cafe. They're donating $25 to the driver that manages to lead at the halfway point of this race this evening. So I believe that should fall about lap 30, 31, whichever way the admins deem fit. So if you're leading at that point, you get $25. And once again, there's $25 that's going to go to Miss Sadie's fight.
I just want to shout out real quick, Tropical Smoothie Cafe. If you got one in your area, or where you can go to one of those, definitely try the peanut butter cup. It's peanut butter, banana, and chocolate in a smoothie. Absolutely amazing. Another good one they got is Sunrise Sunset, strawberries, pineapple, mango, and some OJ in there. Oh, that was one of my favorite spots back at Michigan State. But on to our season payouts for the teams, for the drivers. First place comes home with $500 at the end of the season, Dean. $500 is a lot of money to be winning on iRacing. That's pretty awesome what this league is, grown into. Second place, $300, third, $200, fourth, $150, fifth place, even $100. So $100 if you're fifth, and then the team championship, like we pointed out earlier, the team gets $200. So if they got 4 or 5 guys, it's $40 each. If they got 4 guys on their team and win it, it's $50 each driver. And hey, you never know. You could win team championship and, fall out in the top 5 of the drivers' championship. So you could be walking home with some Benjamins in your pocket.
That sounded like a little bit of pain from last season and personal experience there, Jake, as we took home that championship last year. Well, I'll tell you what, moving into this year, we've also got another awesome promotion here for our drivers. This is actually our Butt Kicker Clean Driver Award. And what a butt kicker is, for those of you that don't know, it is an attachment, a peripheral that goes onto your seat. And when it actually goes onto your seat, it kind of gives you like a motion feel. Now, it's not full motion in terms of moving you to the left and right, but it's got vibrations. You're going to feel bumps, divots, things like that you normally just wouldn't feel staring at a screen. And if you're someone like myself, Jake, who just can't seem to keep out of the wrecks, and you just want that butt kicker for yourself, you can actually go to buttkicker.com and use our discount code SRNVS20 for 20% off of your order of your own butt kicker.
Definitely. If you got a sim rig or trying to enhance your experience, go check out Butt Kicker. Their products are great. And then here you got Kane Cook. So he's partnered with Speed Racing Network to give our drivers, as well as anyone that has into the league. You can go get a coaching session with him. You can find that out, all the information you can need on our website, which is speedracingnetwork.com. So who is Kane Cook, you might ask? Kane Cook, one of the top drivers on iRacing. He's got himself in the Coca-Cola Series, which is the highest level of racing on our platform here on iRacing. What he's known for is being a hard charger. So what that means, he's, whether being qualifying or not qualifying, he started way in the back, and has gained the most positions out of anybody else in each of his, or in that race. And so he receives a hard charger award, and he has the most hard charger awards on all of iRacing. On top of that, this guy's got an account with a 7,400 I rating, and not one, but he's also got a second one. So if you need some coaching sessions, any tips, tricks, anything to get you faster on iRacing, please go check out our website, and you can get yourself a coaching session by yourself or with another friend, or even a group/teams training session with him. So go reach out to that, and Kane will definitely help you out on track.
Absolutely. And Jake, one thing that you want to take a look into here, Joey Gase, NASCAR Cup Series driver, the 53 Ford, he's actually going to be carrying Sandwich Man Racing sports memorabilia on the rear deck lid for the Daytona 500. Now, Jake, I don't know, maybe you had a chance to. I didn't actually get to see the first qualifying race this evening. Was he in the first one, or was he going to be running the second one tonight?
I believe he was in the second one, but before we put this broadcast together, when I was watching qualifying last night, I did actually see this on his car. It's not only on the deck lid, but it is also on the C post. You can see it right over the N and Fox Nation there. So, that's awesome. We got a sponsor in our iRacing League that's also out there sponsoring a cup team, in NASCAR. So it's pretty cool, just kind of full circle. We're out here on, a Thursday night running on iRacing, and he's, the same sponsor is out there sponsoring a cup team. So that's really great to see. Just it shows, you can get the same kind of sponsor guys are getting on Sundays. So.
Yeah, absolutely, Jake, and just shows you how much that the league is actually beginning to grow. Speaking of growing here, you've had Zachary Taylor, who's slowly been growing his points lead a little bit from Tank Racing here. He's won a few races this year, and right now he's sitting at a 28-point lead over Gregory Joyner as we look at our inside the cut points leader. Now, these are the guys that are in the Xfinity Series playoffs. You have Zach Taylor, Gregory Joyner, Mike Lepicki. You have two Tank Racing cars right there in the top three, and as you go down and look through, you see Hard to Kill Motorsports has multiple drivers in. Tank Racing has multiple drivers. Just the cream tends to rise to the top in these leagues.
It definitely does. We got a lot of good guys inside the cup, but then there's also names that you see on this list on the outside the cut that are just as good, that they might have had some bad luck, got involved in some wrecks, anything like that has put them, further down the standing sheet than they want to be. But that's okay. We're only in week 5 of out of 20 or 10 more races before the cutoff. That's actually incorrect. I'm sorry. But anyway, there's 8 more races until the end of the regular season. But, you got guys in here. Danny Dow, he's 64 points back. But, hey, in 8 races, there's anyone that can make up 64 points. Danny Dow can do it. I look through this list even more. Jay Graves Jr. really fast. Derek DeSilva on Tank Racing. There's just plenty of good guys on this list. Curtis Young at R&D Motorsports that are just had unfortunate races, caught up in stuff. And, there's still plenty of time. Don't have to hit that panic button yet, Dean. So, these guys can get back up there inside the cut.
No, for sure. And with the racetracks that we're coming up to, Jake, they're just all so unique. The first few weeks of the season, it definitely suits a certain type of driving style, aggressive, but not too aggressive. But here at Daytona coming up, it's going to be a completely different style. You've got to know when to go. You've got to know when to slow and be able to take the laps one at a time here today. Any one of these guys can wind up in the cup by the time this race is over.
Exactly. And then we're going to move on towards our team championship leader right now, which is Tank Racing. This is the top team right now in Xfinity. You see they've got 2 wins out of the first 4 races, so they've got half of the wins so far. Not too far back is Bronco Motorsports in second place. They're always practicing as a team. They're fast as well. Third place, we got H2K. Fourth place, we got Team SRN. A little bit of a drop there from third to fourth, but it's a long, long season, Dean. And then we got our other winning team in here is Rev Racing in 5th place, 6th place R&D, and 7th place R2D2 Motorsports. So, the same kind of thing we were just saying about the individual drivers championship standings. Don't hit that panic button yet, because, we're about to roll off at Daytona. Anything can happen. You could finish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for your team and be moving way up to the moon on this team championship list brought to you by Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
That is correct, Jake. Look at that beautiful water. I'm jealous of whoever got to film that one there. Now we're going to move on to our team standings here, like you said. And first up, we've got Tank Racing. When it comes to these guys, you got Derek Da Silva, who we got to race against last year. You have Zachary Taylor with a couple wins already on the season. Devin Zimmerman always going to have something to say here in the middle of these races, whether he be right up there in the front battling for the lead or whether he be battling for a top 10. He's going to be there. Michael Pickey and Emerson Arden.
No doubt, Tank Racing is going to always be quick, but right on their heels is the Bronco Motorsports. Got one of the coolest logos, if you ask me, but Chris Massey puts this team together. And, you got Rhett Tucker in the 81, Nathaniel Mon in the 84, Logan or Greg Joyner, that's his iRacing name, but his name's Logan Joyner in the 85, Nick Gowen in the 88, and Brad Williams in the 89. I've been running a lot, it seems like, with these guys in other leagues and just some endurance races, and they know what they're doing as a team, so definitely look out for them to be on the rise as well. I think this team's going to be pretty strong here tonight, Dean. So really, I think you're going to see Bronco Motorsports try to shorten that gap in between themselves and Tank Racing.
Yeah, I honestly would pick them as one of my winners tonight, as well as they work on these plate tracks. When it comes to these H2K cars, you got Jovi Sagapid, Ryan Ducom, Troy Teichmeyer, Josh Marcy, and Justin Scruggs here with H2K in these Toyotas.
Definitely, and Joseph DuPont puts this team together. He knows what he's doing, but if there's one team to be rooting for, it's the factory team here, Team SRN. We got Wayne Rayborn, Danny Setzer, Bo Tiffany, Danny Dow, who's just come on board recently with them, as well as the 39 of Stan Hausman. So, these guys are all really, really fast. Last year in our Xfinity Series and MSM, both Danny Dow and Stan Hausman found themselves in the playoffs. So, this is a team that, they might be lower in the standings right now collectively as a team, but you got to watch out because you just never know when they're going to start making that march to the front.
They were a tough team to beat last year for sure, and another team that was tough to get past was the Rev Racing team. With this group, these guys are going to have like Joshua Siegfried, Aaron Gerwitz, who, if you'll remember, made our playoffs last year, Marshall Stanley, who I'm just a little prone to because of that number, but, what do I know? He's got himself a win on the year. Greg Olenek, hailing from good old West Virginia, as well as me, and Mark Brown up here in the 68 car.
Definitely, you see that winner sicker. Marshall Stanley got the best of me last week here at the Daytona road course in the Xfinity Series. So, he's obviously fast on road courses, but you got to watch out for him on ovals as well. He is definitely quick, so watch out for Rev Racing, like you were saying, to make a move. But up next, you see the Tennessee TriStar. That means it's R&D Motorsports. David Duke's the one that put this team together, and if none of you guys know David Duke like Dean and myself know, he's going to bring 5 awesome drivers that he wants on his team to go out there and compete not only for the team championship, but as well as the individual. So you got Daniel Ballard leading this list, who was one of the front runners all last year, Chris Heller, Eric Hawk, Curtis Young, and Cody Havens. So, these are solid 5 guys, and, they might be a little down right now, but David Duke's going to be in their ear saying, listen, calm it down. Don't worry about it. We got this. We're going to go, and we're going to, show them what we're all about.
Yeah, and they definitely are going to go out here and give their all tonight, just like probably one of the most creative names that you get here, which is R2D2 Motorsports. Jay Graves, who's driving that number 4 car, Dylan Patterson in the 8, Jamie Plord in the 38, Kevin Winker in the 42, and Michael Amenti there in the number 55. And Jake, if I'm not mistaken, Jay Graves has a little experience here. He ran the truck race last night.
Exactly. Jay is a really good driver. Last year he really caught my eye in the Xfinity Series. He wasn't able to show up to quite a few races, but really clean driver. He was battling for that clean driver award at the end of the year, as well as up front going for wins. And also Dylan Patterson run with him in another league. And this team's quick too, so you just got to watch out for every single team. Any driver on these teams can go out and win it. But this isn't the last. This might be the last team, but we still got some drivers here in this race. We got our independent drivers, so this is just going to be a mixture of guys dropping down from the Cup Series as well as guys making the jump up from the Truck Series. So, we got Cody Madden, the 15 car today. Michael Madden, So got a little brother action out here tonight. They're probably going to be working together. Bobby Anderson, Daniel Keith Jr., and then Brandon Browning in the 48 car, which that is his paint scheme he's running here tonight at Daytona, which on the quarter panels it says win for Sadie. So, back to our great cause that we're trying to get, help towards to help herself and her family out. Got a great looking car to go along with it, as well as Nathan Nixon and Robert Yost filling out our field here tonight for our Xfinity race.
But one more that we got to mention is Corey Saucier, the winner last night from the truck race, managed to start from first and finish first, and he's going to try to come up here this evening in this one-off race and see if he can't show these Xfinity guys how it's done.
Exactly, and that's the thing. You go out and win, the truck race or the Xfinity race, you get your free entry. That's what Corey did last night. We were sitting here in awe at that finish. So could Corey go back-to-back? You never know, right? So we'll see what he's got.
And Jake, now that we've had a chance to go through the field, meet our drivers, let's go ahead and see the grid here for tonight's race for the Sadie's All-Out Fight 150 from Daytona International Speedway. On pole, you have Mark Brown from Rev Racing, Dustin Scruggs from H2K Motorsports close by in second, Rhett Tucker in third from Bronco Motorsports, the good number 25 Marshall Stanley from Rev Racing in fourth, and Cody Havens in fifth from R&D Motorsports.
Sixth place, we got Eric Hawk at R&D Motorsports. Seventh place, we got Josh Marcy at H2K Motorsports. Another H2K Motorsports driver in eighth place, Troy Techmeyer. And then we got Corey Saucier, our Truck Series winner from last night, rolling off P9. So, hey, he's ready to go, trying to go back-to-back. But 10th place, we got Joshua Segfrid at a Rev Racing. And then 11th place, Dylan Patterson at a R2D2. And rounding out our top 12, we got Ryan Ducombe at a H2K Motorsports. So if I look right here, we got 4 of the 5 H2K Motorsports drivers in the top 12, Dean. That's pretty impressive. Showing their speed, they're going to have 4 guys in the top 12 right off the bat trying to go, grab this lead and kind of control this race.
That is correct, Jake. And when I go through and look at the grid times for tonight, I see 2 guys that tried to make time and just didn't quite get their times in. They just missed it a little bit by the line. But from Mark Brown up in first, qualified with a 50.457. You go back to the last car that made qualifying time, Jamie Plord in 23rd, 50.665. That is 0.2 of a second amongst 23 race cars.
Exactly. It just shows you how tight the field is. You really can throw a blanket over it. But hey, Dean, who you got tonight? If you're picking a winner, who are you going with, Dean?
I'm going to go with the guy that has the absolute most patience. It's hard so much to pick one right here, Jake, but just knowing and racing around Marshall Stanley, and I may be a little prone to it, I like that 25 car, but I will say, back there starting in 37th, kind of wanting to win that hard charger award, looking here for Sadie. Brandon Browning's got some of the hometown love for me here.
Fair enough. I can see why you pick him. Definitely can't go wrong with that. Tonight, I really think Daniel Bowler, I think that's who I'm going to go with, Dean. He really loves these super speedways, and, I just know he knows where to put himself in these situations. He knows it's a long race. He's rolling off 42nd. So it looks like he didn't obviously get a qualifying lap down, but like I was just saying, he knows what he's doing, so you rather start in the back, get away from trouble. So Daniel Bowler is going to be my pick for this race, Dean.
And Bowler definitely knows how to win on any type of track, whether it be road course, oval. The last time he came here to Daytona, unfortunately, he got a little snake bit about 100 yards from the finish line. A miscalculated error, if you would, there, Jake. See, I got the calculator joke in for the race, but we've got them stacked up here 2 by 2. That Ford Mustang pace car working its way through the high banks of Daytona. And we're going to go down here, have them hit pit road. And, Jake, we turn the call over to you, sir.
Appreciate it, Dean. We're just waiting for this pace car to roll off, drop down into pit lane. These drivers are pulling their belts tight one more time, getting ready, getting locked in for the zone, waiting on Mark Brown to hit the loud pedal. And he's on it, Dean. He's going. We are green flag racing here at Daytona for the Sadie's All-Out Fight 150.
2 by 2, they come past the start-finish line down here into turn 1 at Daytona. Still nose to tail, a little bit of gap in between each cars as they come through the gears at Daytona International Speedway.
Yep, and you can see Rhett Tucker in that number 81 machine already to the rear bumper of Mark Brown, but he's going to go to the outside as they come out of 2, try to take the lead on the high side. So Bronco Motorsports already trying to get to that lead before lap 1's even finished as they head into 3.
And let's see how this inside line reacts here, Jake. It bottles up quite a bit, but we're going to see Marshall Stanley out there, the third car in line. We're going to see if he's going to be able to follow that momentum on the high side, or as we see through turns 3 and 4, that inside line begins to come back. Who's going to lead lap number 1 here at Daytona International?
It looks like Rhett Tucker's going to get the push on the outside, and he's going to lead lap 1. Dustin Scruggs is the 11 car behind him. Our first lap leader is going to be Rhett Tucker out of Bronco Motorsports. But I tell you right now, if I'm on that outside, I'd be dropping down if I'm clear, because there's 3 cars on the high side versus about 30 of them in a row on the low side. So they're going to have a lot more speed on the inside, but they're hanging tough on the outside, Dean. But here comes Mark Brown. It's going to be a drag race down the back stretch.
Cars begin to scramble down the back straightaway as one drops down below the yellow line, possibly to attempt to drop to the back to avoid a little bit of trouble as Rhett Tucker moves down in front of the 68 as we got trouble.
Hard wreck. Hard cars in the wall, Dean. Oh, end over end, flipping on top of each other. Big wreck early here, just like we saw last night in our Truck Series race.
Yeah, Jake, and that one definitely was a rough wreck, just like last night. They managed to make it an extra lap around, but almost in the exact same place. It looks like the 22 there of Eric Hawk may have wound up having some issues. But go back and watch the Sandwich Man Racing memorabilia replay just to see exactly what happened here.
Yep, and we're going to check out this replay here. Shout out to Sandwich Man Racing, Sports Memorabilia. You can look up all the stuff they have on Shopify. So you saw the 81 of Rhett Tucker drop to the low side, and I think the 11 of Dustin Scruggs just might have thought he was clear as well, but unfortunately he had cars to his inside, and the big one ensued behind it, and tons of cars torn up, Dean. You know, like you said, really was exactly the same as last night, except 1 lap later, and at that moment you can just see the track just fills up with cars spinning everywhere, and there's just nowhere anyone can go really to get through it, except for these guys slamming on the brakes and getting slowed up.
And just as we see the number 3 car come by here on the screen, Jake, for the rest of this lap, lap number 3, on the 20th anniversary of the death of Dale Earnhardt, we will continue this lap all the way through turn number 2 in a moment of silence for the Intimidator 20 years ago this weekend. From Daytona International Speedway, this is the Speed Racing Network for the Sadie's All Out Fight 150. A moment of silence just recently for the late, great Dale Earnhardt as we had a massive wreck here, Jake, in turn number 3 on lap number 2 of this 60-lap event.
We definitely did, Dean. You know, there were cars everywhere, hitting the wall, flipping, getting damaged, getting torn up. You know, unfortunately, some of these guys are going to have to use that first fast repair, Dean, and we weren't even at the end of lap 2. But, you know, up front, we still got Rhett Tucker out of Bronco Motorsports. So, and it seems like the first top 10, I'd say, avoided that wreck somehow. You know, and they kept their car clean, so they don't have to waste one of those fast repairs.
That is correct, Jake. And, you know, the thing about this that's wonderful is when it comes to the fast repairs, you don't actually have to take one if you don't feel like your car is too damaged. So let me ask you, Jake, you know, you're a driver down in here, you're in the midst of that big one, and your spotter comes on and tells you, hey, your fenders are a little bent up, but, you know, the car actually looks pretty okay. What are you doing here? Are you going to go ahead and come down and take that fast repair and be fast now at this part of the race? Or do you want to maybe hold on to it just in case there's a late race caution that messes the car up a little more and still gives you that opportunity to repair it?
I definitely think you got to hold on to it and wait. It's too early, Dean. We're only on lap 5 of 60. We're going to be getting the green flag on lap 6. So you just go into pit lane, you fix as much damage as possible. Hopefully all of it's fixed, and that way, you don't waste the faster pair, but you're still able to be fast enough to keep yourself towards the tail end of the draft. Because if you burn it now, we just saw they wrecked on lap 2. So who's to say we don't go one lap here and they wreck again? And if you get involved again and you've already used that faster pair, you find yourself out of this race on lap 6. So, you got to save it. It's part of the strategy in it, especially with the faster pair.
Absolutely there, Jake. And, the big thing with it is right before that caution had happened, I had made mention. I saw one car. I couldn't tell who it was. I could tell it was one of the Ford Mustangs dropping down below the yellow line, looking like he was trying to back to the back of the field, almost like he had a sixth sense. I don't know, Jake. You and I have been pretty good buddies for some time, but whoever that was, I think we may be going to the casino together real soon.
You aren't kidding. That they're the lottery winner in that one for avoiding that big one, because there were a ton of cars. It happened in second and third place, about around there. So, guys up front get involved. So let's just hope these guys, maybe they're a little nervous, trying to feel the race out, feel how, all these other guys are on plate tracks. This is the first time we've run on a super speedway with the Xfinity Series this year. So, it's probably a lot of nerves, a little anxiousness under that helmet. So these guys just got to take a deep breath, relax. It's a long race. It might not seem like it, but 60 laps here at this 2.5 mile track, it's a long, long time.
Yes, sir, it is, Jake. That pace car peels off, and here they come down to the green flag. Rhett Tucker going to lead them back to the green. He gets on the gas pedal. They stack up 2 by 2 behind him. He gets a little bit of a run out in front of Marshall Stanley as the outside lane begins to accordion just a little bit. They begin their fight down into turn number 1 as they reach down to grab that 4th gear.
Yep, and Mark Brown on the outside. He's got Cody Havens in the 99 behind him. They're going to have to do a lot of work to get back up to, even out the lanes here. But up front, Rhett Tucker in control. Marshall Stanley out of Rev Racing right behind him in second. In third place, we got the 8-car Dylan Patterson jumping out to the high side. So, guys aren't really content with just riding it. It seems like guys want to be up front. They just saw that huge wreck. They want to be out in front of it because that's the safest place to be, Dean, as they head into turn 4.
Yeah, and sometimes the front is the safest place to be. Sometimes with it, Jake, you're running in the Daytona 500 and a car manages to overheat in front of you, and that's one thing these drivers are definitely going to have to watch here this evening, is when you get the nose of these vehicles together, they will overheat if they stay behind someone for too long. Now, there is quite a bit of air moving. I mean, my goodness, at 187, 190 miles per hour, you're going to have air move. It's just a matter of how much can you get to that grill, and how much can you get as quickly enough to not cook that engine?
As you see that, we see the outside line starting to form, getting some traction on the high side, moving towards the front as that 8-car Dylan Patterson with his teammate right behind him in the 4-car Jay Graves Jr. at a R2D2 Motorsports. So these guys are trying to make this high side work, really pinching the low line, trying to not give them too much room and just get a big run down the front stretch here, hopefully. But right now, that 81 and that 25 car on the inside, they're tough to beat up front.
Yeah, they are, Jake. Now, I'll tell you here, when it comes to this type of racing, everybody's got their own way of doing it. You have a lot of drivers that will try to side draft, get a little bit of air off the car on the inside that will help give them maybe a 1 or 2 mile per hour speed boost. The problem that you run into at a track like Daytona, in iRacing, you have a phenomenon known as netcode. It's basically just internet lag, and sometimes 2 cars will occupy the same space, whether they do or not, and you may see 2 cars just all of a sudden come together, slide around, and that's what the 8-car right now is having to deal with on the outside. He comes down too much, he might suck a car into him, or a car may suck him into them.
Exactly, and you see this low line starting to pull away from the outside. What that means is this outside line's not organized enough. These 4 guys, you can see them jostling around out there on the outside. They're just not formed up as well as the inside line, but we got Jamie Ploder in the 38 car moving to the high side. He wants to go up front and get this lead.
Yeah, and I think right now what's just pretty awesome to watch is you see Marshall Stanley and Rhett Tucker up front, Marshall with the push. These 2 cars really haven't had, anyone glued to their back bumper as you see this outside line start to form. The outside, you've got 2 cars pushing side by side, or nose to tail, and when they're pushing, they're moving a little faster down the straightaway. It's just when they get to that corner, it's so much longer of a way around, that inside line begins to move. But then the question is, when they come off the corner, how much more momentum does that high side carry?
Exactly, and honestly, I think it's a little too early to be side drafting. That's not something I like to do this early in a super speedway race. So, we're only on lap 10, but hey, these guys are running. We're up here in the booth, so we'll let them do them. Like you were saying about it's a fine art. You see the 81 and the 25, they're hooked together, and the 81 is doing the right thing there. He's given about a half a lane up off the yellow line to let Marshall Stanley get aired to that front end. That way he can still be tucked up right behind him for as long as he's been doing it. Marshall's doing a heck of a job right now. So if it's early in the race, but that's just mental notes you got to take and say, look, this 25 car knows what he's doing here. He's been pushing me already, and that's who I want to have behind me. Hopefully, if it lines up that way at the end of the race.
Yeah, and you got a second group back here, Jake. A lot of these guys looks like that they may have been involved in that very first wreck. Sitting here about 10 seconds back off the rest of the field, and it looks like these guys probably know what they're doing as well. They saw that big wreck early, realize you've got a long way to go. They see how racy the front of the field is, and they're just going to stay back here in case there's another big accident up front. Rather than having to dodge cars, they just get to hit their brakes, roll out of the throttle, and keep scooting around here.
Yeah, I got to say, though, Dean, they're getting in that danger zone of, they're losing a lot of time every single lap. The front runner of that second pack is Curtis Young, and, he's got a damaged car. And when I look through through the camera views we got on the backstretch right now, that's where they're at, as opposed to the front of the field where they're already going to the line. There's some cars back here that have clean cars, and, if I'm them, these clean cars need to be up front to be able to pull this second group faster around the track, because this thing keeps going the way it is. We stay green. This second group of, about 8 drivers, they could find themselves getting lapped, and that's not what you want to have happen here at Daytona International Speedway. That just digs your hole a little deeper. But back up front, you still see the 81 of Rhett Tucker out of Bronco Motorsports leading this thing with Marshall Stanley.
Yeah, and Jake, one thing that I really love about the iRacing simulation, and as true as they try to get to life, if you go to a racetrack and it's a very, very cold weather type of day, cold, wet weather day, you don't see a lot of stuff on the windshield except maybe some rain droplets. As the 3 car moves up here to the high line, he wants to go for the lead. We're 3 wide down the middle, and they are going to avoid that wreck. My goodness, I thought the 8 car was going to take him out.
That got really, really close there, Dean. That was going to be another big one through the tri-oval, but you see the inside lines prevailing right now. Rhett Tucker still leading the pack. Jovi Sagaped trying to get to the high side and, make that high line work, but I just don't think he's got enough help right behind him to make it work.
Yeah, I don't think he does, Jake. They're going to try to scramble now to get single file. And, the big thing about single file, it can be a much safer way to race. Like I was mentioning, the true to life of iRacing. You come here to somewhere like Daytona, and today with the track temperatures, they're very, very, very hot. They're right now on track. It is right at 89 degrees Fahrenheit. The ambient temperature is 74 degrees. You get a lot of bugs on the windshields of these cars that iRacing has managed to program. And I tell you, if it looks kind of organized right now. The lines are starting to get together, but let's go on board with the 8 car through the cockpit view, just so that way we can see exactly what it looks like from the driver's point of view. You can see that car in front of him, the 32, but you cannot see anything past it. You got a car down here on the inside that's going a lap down. He's going to poke his nose a little bit out just to see if he's got any help on the high side. You see how fast he closes, but just watch when he gets to turn 3. Watch this inside line just suck back around him. Unfortunately, he's going back to the back of the field as he's going to watch all these cars begin to roll around him.
Yep, that choo-choo train on the bottom right now is going to keep pulling on him, and unfortunately right now, unless someone ducks out of that inside line and gets up behind him, he's just going to fall to the back of this inside line. These guys up front are, finally I think realize, hey, there's no point in racing it out right now. We're on lap 15. The halfway caution is still 15 laps away. So, it's not really worth it right now to be too wide and, and get yourself tore up like a lot of these cars that have fallen off the main pack have done. They're 18 seconds, 20 seconds now behind the lead pack. As we see another car about to get lapped here, probably going to happen off of turn 4. So this is where things get dicey, Dean, for our drivers at Super Speedway Racing.
Oh yeah, for sure. You go up front here with the 81 car. You're going to see the 17 coming up on him, and this lap car here has a responsibility, right? He wants to make sure he stays on the lead lap, but at the same time, these guys are closing so much faster. They're going to have to make moves around him, and it looks like they may be going 3 wide here in just a moment. Nope, the 18 manages to get in line there.
It looked like someone was about to clip someone right there, Dean. That lap car did a good job, got out of the way, but, Marshall Stanley had enough of pushing Red Tucker. He wants to go to the high side and get himself the lead, and it looks like Jovi's going to come up behind him and try to give him the push he needs to get that 25 car up front here at Daytona.
That's all it takes, Jake. Just one car a little bit out of line, and it's going to wind up ramping up here. Ooh,
Marshall Stanley got a shove that wasn't lined up with the rear bumper and almost sent him around.
Yeah, Jake, explain to the fans at home how these bumpers work and in terms of this bump draft. I mean, you can't just go up there and slam into someone. I mean, what happens if you don't hit them just right?
Yep, so like we just saw there, Marshall Stanley was doing his job of holding it straight, but Jovi, I think, just kind of came at a weird angle, didn't really hit him square. So, we got 3 manufacturers out here, Chevrolet, Toyota, as well as Ford, and, they might all look very similar, but their bumpers are definitely not. So you got to be careful how you hit a guy with the manufacturer car you're running. The Toyotas aren't as flat as the Fords or Camaros, so that's just something you got to look out for, because if you hit them at the wrong, if you don't hit them square, you hit them on one side of the quarter or the rear bumper, it's going to shoot them one way or the other. It's going to either put them in the outside line or outside wall, or he's going to go hit the right side doors of the inside line.
Yeah, Jake, and, when it comes to this race this evening, we're going through here looking, and we've got about 55, 56 viewers here on YouTube, and, we appreciate every single one of you guys. If you have Facebook, like Speed Racing Network on Facebook, like us on YouTube, subscribe so that way you can see us race. We run every Wednesday night, Thursday night, and Jake, you and I, we got to go get our fire suits on here Sunday night.
Yeah, Dean, it's going to be really interesting Sunday night. We don't have fast repairs, so if there's a big wreck like we saw lap 2 tonight and lap 1 last night, that's going to take a lot of guys out of the race early. But, up front, Marshall Stanley's making that high line work. He's honestly been the only car recently that's been able to get to the door, the 81, but they're too wide now as they go through 3 and 4. Looks like action's picking up here as these guys are closing in on that halfway caution on lap 30 for that, $25 from Tropical Tropical Smoothie Cafe. So, they know what's at stake, even though it's halfway through this race.
Jake, I don't know if you had the opportunity to speak with anybody here this week, but have you talked with anybody, any crew chiefs, to figure out with our light fuel load? Normal NASCAR rules allow for an 18.7 gallon fuel tank, and we run just a little over 13 gallons. How many laps can these guys go on a green flag run with fuel?
Yeah, so I'm looking right now. I got a car here that's, been out here in the draft, things like that. I'm getting word that, he's got 6.7 gallons of fuel left, so that's 17 laps of racing to go until he needs to come down to pit lane. So, these guys are good to go to that halfway caution. So, the action is really, really going to get intense here in these closing laps for that halfway yellow. As we see a car move up in front of the 42 back there, that almost caused an accident right there. But, we're still green flag racing, and we're 2x2 here at the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway.
We sure are, Jake, and that second pack that we were talking just a few moments ago was about 10 seconds back. This is how fast the draft moves here at Daytona. These guys are now about 28 seconds back, and with the position that they're in right now, they're playing it smart. They know that this halfway caution is coming up and that these guys up front are going to be getting very aggressive. You think if a caution comes out right now, they may be the only cars left to be able to run for that. They're not so much worried about that halfway money. They want the trophy, and they're doing a great job back there. It's just going to be, once this halfway caution comes out, how safe or how aggressively are you willing to play it after that halfway point, knowing that one pit stop will take you to the end? Definitely.
So I just got word from one of our pit reporters, Dean. This lead group is running 48 flats. 48 flats, and back there, that second pack is not running as quickly. So they're in danger of, a little slip up here or there with this second pack. They could find themselves maybe getting lapped, early on in this race.
Big run coming from the outside here. Marshall Stanley going to try to go for the lead now. Is he going to take the 18 with him, or is he going to try to duck down here? He just can't clear the 81 on the inside, but he had a huge run.
He definitely did. That 18 was giving him a shot down the backstretch, and to your point there, I think if you get a big run like that from behind.
Oh, here we go. Big accident.
Corey Saucier, our truck winner last night, gets turned. Oh, big wreck up front as they cross the line. Multiple cars into the outside wall. Man, oh man, that's not what you want to see. We were looking forward to that run to the halfway yellow, but here's a yellow right now, Dean.
Yeah,
so
it was.
This might throw a wrench into some guy's strategy.
This very well may, Jake. I kind of saw that one formulating. They got down through the front straightaway here as we take a look at the Sandwich Man Racing memorabilia replay, rec replay here, and you can find these guys on Shopify for any of their products. It looks like the 8 car just kind of ducks his nose in here to go 3 wide. They come off the corner. But when he does, Jake, you got to have, that's last night's winner, Corey Saucer. You got to have that willingness to kind of lift out of the throttle. And as you can see, he just doesn't. 2 cars try to occupy the same space. And with these guys so close together,
we see our points leader mowing the lawn through the infield there at Daytona. Zachary Taylor had to avoid the wreck by going through the grass. Another car I want to point out here when we watch this this drone shot through turns 3 and 4, that orange and black car up there, the number 3 is Jovi Sagaped. Kind of at the wrong place at the wrong time. He gets clipped in the right rear, Dean, and, it sends him to the outside wall and getting hit from behind. But it looks like Zachary Taylor just a little couple grass clippings probably on the undercarriage of his Ford Mustang, gets through that wreck with no damage, so he probably won't have to use a fast repair.
No, it looks like he's got a little damage there on the rear bumper of that number 14 Ford Mustang, but if I'm him, I'm definitely not taking this fast repair. I've kind of seen how this field races a little bit, so, I know that there's a second group back there kind of waiting and watching, and I don't know. I think I may come down, see how well the pit crew can pull it out just to give a better contact surface for a car pushing, but you just saw his luck. Just because you managed to miss the wreck in front of you doesn't mean one's not forming right on top of you from behind.
You're absolutely right, Dean. And, I just want to say that we had some cars come down pit lane, which I kind of feel is a little awkward for them. They're giving up a ton of track position. Our race admin for tonight, Adam Pettit, said, he's thrown the competition caution at lap 30, so this is not going to be it. So these guys are going to have a short little run. But from us at Team SR, or from SRN, we're going to go to commercial break here right now.
Like our drivers here at Speed Racing Network, Travis L. is a competitor. That's a fact made clear when you talk to Travis about his love for professional barbecue and the Flavor Bomb rubs and seasonings that have helped him bring home championships. Travis launched Flavor Bomb in June 2020 to champion something greater, his daughter Sadie. Sadie's battle began in late 2019 with a life-threatening infection. Not long after fighting that battle, Sadie was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Sadie's treatments continue weekly and are set to do so through September of 2022. The cost, both physically, financially, and mentally, can be staggering at times. Through Flavor Bomb and Sadie's journey, Travis and Sadie have been able to support the doctors, nurses, and patients that have been by their side. Flavor Bomb does cooks, giveaways, and gives part of the proceeds to St. Jude's and Cook's Children's Hospital. Please go to www.fbbbbq.com to help support Travis and Sadie in their fight against cancer.
And welcome back to Daytona International Speedway and tuning into Speed Racing Network. You just saw that commercial of Flavor Bomb, promoting the Sadie's all-out fight. Obviously you saw all those great photos of such a cute little girl who's battling leukemia right now. So if you feel the need, or if you really want to help out the cause and, give some money to support herself and her family, you can go to Flavor Bomb's website, fbbq.com, and, buy any of their seasonings, anything like that to help out, this, little girl is, she's 8 years old, I believe, and she's battling leukemia right now. So that's just obviously something no one should ever have to go through, in life. So any little thing can help. It adds up. We've got over 100 guys in our Discord for all three series. So, $1 each, even, that's $100. And it's just the more that's given just really helps out, and it really just lifts a burden off their shoulders, Dean.
Absolutely. And Jake, we're going through the pre-race kind of talking about who we had for our picks for tonight. I will not be going to the casino with you because you picked Daniel Bowdler, and unfortunately it looks like his car wouldn't even fire this evening. He didn't even make it off pit road. From what we're getting down there in the pits, it kind of looks like that someone left the oil out of the engine this evening.
Yeah, unfortunately, he has already texted me and said he had some bad internet tonight. So you never want to see that. That's one of the things with iRacing that you get. But nonetheless, pace car peels off. It's going to be in Rhett Tucker's hand here. We're going to have 6 laps to go to the competition caution. Rhett Tucker in the 81 really kind of pulls away from Cody Havens and Marshall Stanley as they're 2x2 as they head on into turn 1.
I think Cody Havens may have himself a good chance to take this lead. If he can get clear of Marshall Stanley down here and move up in front of him, he may be able to get Marshall to push him around. But Marshall is sticking there very tough, and he gets that side draft. Look how much momentum he's starting to carry off of turn number 2. Huge run down this back straightaway. He may wind up passing him for the lead all by himself.
All by himself, he might. Dean, the 25 is going to get himself to the right door of the 81, and here comes help behind him by Bobby Anderson in the 18. And these two guys are going to try to get a big run here out of 4. But I think this inside line of Rhett Tucker and Cody Havens has been working pretty well so far. It's going to be a little drag race here to the 5 laps to go till our competition caution.
One of the big things you have to battle here at Daytona as well as Talladega, Jake, is, you can go through and you can work with your teammates all week in practices. Marshall Stanley does peek that nose out just a little bit in front. He might get the run down the backstretch that he finally needs to clear. But you can work with your teammates all week long, but you just don't know how everybody else is going to draft around you here. As Marshall does get that big run, he's got him clear. Is he going to move down and leave the 18 out? He sure will.
He's got to be careful there, though. He almost got himself hooked because he was a little hesitant, and now they're going to be 3 wide behind him. I think that Bronco Motorsports car might be to the outside of the 18. He's not. He kind of lifted, did the gentleman thing there to give room, but Rhett Tucker's going to jump to the outside. So we see the 81 go from the inside to the outside line, but here comes the 18 of Bobby Anderson behind the 25 of Marshall Stanley on the inside. So a little jockeying up position as they come to the stripe.
Yeah, and Rhett Tucker, he was going to move up there all by himself, but now he's finally got that Bronco car right behind him. You got to be careful when you run up here and give him this big run. You're carrying so much speed. You just don't want to upset the rear of that car. Ooh, as the 18 gets a little loose there on the inside.
And that's going to hurt Marshall Stanley down the backstretch here at Daytona. It's going to give these two Bronco Motorsports cars of Rhett Tucker and Brad Williams a big run down the backstretch. They're going to be able to probably clear both of themselves to the inside. If I'm them, I'm dropping down. You got 2 teammates here. You're in control of this thing, and look at that, Dean. It's like they're listening to me. Our 2 Bronco Motorsports cars up front going to move down to the bottom in front of Marshall Stanley, and now you got the 81 and 89 running 1-2 if you're a Bronco Motorsports fan. But nonetheless, Marshall Stanley pulls out in front of the outside line. He's going to try to make work of this with some runs from behind of Zachary Taylor trying to push him up front.
Yeah, Zach Taylor's already back up there, and Corey Saucier is actually that 3rd car on the outside line. We've got both of these guys were involved in some wrecks already. Now, I can't tell on the back bumper there of the 14, but it does not look like he took his fast repair, so his nose is fine. He can push this 25 car as hard as he wants to, and they're going to, and we're going to have a touch, but they managed to save it.
What a save. I mean, the 89 was almost going to the bus stop in the backstretch of the road course. But they're 3 wide as we go into 3, and Zach Taylor's going to get a big run. We got a car on the outside
wall. One car on the wall. It's the 10 car. Is he going to save it? He will. Oh, my goodness, Jake.
We're coming to 1 lap to go, and before our competition yellow, Zach Taylor's getting a big shot from behind from Marshall Stanley, but these 2 Bronco Motorsports cars are saying, no, not so fast, my friend. They're going to give them all they can here on the inside.
I kind of laugh whenever you have one of these cars with rear end damage, Jake, because it's almost like the Chevys begin to push them a little better, just the way that their noses are pointed. And that 25's tucking right in there well with the 14. We're going to see what type of shove he can get through 3 and 4. You're not worried about the car overheating right now. You're just trying to get up there and see what you can do to get some halfway money.
Exactly. You are pedal to the floor, no lifting, nothing worrying about temps or anything. It's a run to the checkers. They head into 3 and 4. They're going to come out of 4, and it's going to be who can get to the line first. The 81 of Rhett Tucker right now is in a really good position. He could stay with his teammate, or if he wants to jump to the outside to block to Zachary Taylor as they come to the line. But Zachary Taylor's trying to make a comeback here, but it's going to be Rhett Tucker leading that lap.
That it was.
The admin throws the yellow. Oh, they're saying it's 1 to go, so it's going to be at the end of lap 30.
Oh, okay.
Misunderstanding there earlier, Adam Pettit. I believe he said he was going to throw it when they hit 30, but, maybe I just misheard him or something like that.
Well, that's what happens when you take 2 guys who are terrible at math and one of them who probably can't really read that well, Jake, but we're going to have another big run down here down the backstretch. We're going to see if this 25 car can get to this 14, get him around, or if Rhett Tucker's going to just get that run at the line here. I think you need to have that camera ready and be ready to cue that microphone for whoever's our halfway winner.
I definitely think you do. Unfortunately, though, I wonder if Marshall really can push them. But here they come. The outside line's going to get a big run. It's going to be
Taylor at the line
with a big run on the outside from Marshall Stanley out of Rev Racing.
And Jake, I still do not see. There it is. There's our caution
I was
flag.
going to say that. Guys were starting to check up almost, and that could get a little hairy.
That definitely could. Well, Zach Taylor got our halfway award. I think we may wait here just a moment, Jake, and see if we can't cue him up just in a few minutes after we go around a little bit here. But we've got some exciting things to talk about here under this caution as everybody begins to line up.
Definitely, we will try to get them up here, when after their pit stops. But right now, our first item up for one of our raffles found on our website, speedracingnetwork.com, is where you can buy your $10 raffle tickets. The first one being an Astro 840 TR headset, as well as the Mixamp Pro. So, it's a combo set. You get the mic or the headset as well as the amp. This is really great if you're into streaming or anything, in that same realm of, things that you could use this for. An awesome product. I've heard really, really good things. Greg Olenek has talked to me about this. So, if you're into any of that stuff, this is a really good piece to try and go win yourself in one of our raffles on our website.
Yeah, and the one piece that I would love to have is this Christopher Bell replica helmet. Once again, a $10 raffle, all to benefit Sadie and her fight. Christopher Bell, if you do not know, is the newest driver of the number 20 car, a very esteemed line of drivers for Joe Gibbs Racing, drivers of the like of Tony Stewart, Joey Logano. You also had Matt Kenseth in that ride for a little bit. Eric Jones just left that ride, and now it's in the hands of Christopher Bell.
And lastly, our third thing here for our raffle tonight is one of the Butt Kicker Gamer 2s. Again, we talked about it earlier in the show. If you want to add an element to your sim rig, this is the piece of equipment to get. It it emulates everything you would feel in a real car, through your sim rig chair or an actual seat out of a car or anything like that. So this thing is something you really you should be going after, because these things, whether it's people in the league that have them or, guys in official races on iRacing talking about it, they only talk really, really good things about it. So go grab go grab a raffle ticket and try to win yourself the Butt Kicker.
Absolutely. And down here on pit road, we begin to see cars pit for what more than likely, if you stay clean, can be your last pit stop of the race. Jake, here at Daytona, tire wear is usually not a huge factor, so I'm a little surprised to see Zachary Taylor taking all 4 tires here on this pit stop. It looks like also second place Rhett Tucker is as well, as Zach wins that race off pit road.
Exactly. Honestly, I think it's the thing you got to do, because, the amount of time it takes to get 4 tires is the amount of time it's going to take to, fill the car up. So, you can't really complain. Man, one of our front runners, Dean, I'm listening to the race chat. Marshall Stanley ran out of fuel at one point and had to get pushed around by his teammate. So he's going to lose a ton of track position. He was running P4 on the outside. So you hate to see that for one of our guys. Marshall going to be, going from P4 all the way to the back of the pack. That's just tough to see, Dean.
Oh, it definitely is. And we're going to go ahead and bring in Zachary Taylor, our halfway winner here. Let's get him up in the booth. Zach Taylor, this is Dean Brummett and Jake Rowell up in the booth. Halfway winner this evening, buddy. How you doing tonight?
So far, great. Doing great.
That's awesome to hear, man. We saw the way that those cars were just kind of moving around. I saw you get a little bit of damage there, taking that $250,000 lawnmower you have through the front stretch at Daytona. Do you have any fast repairs left for the end of this race?
Yes, I do, actually. I still have my one remaining backup car on the trailer, and we got it ready if we may need it.
Well, that's good to hear, Zach. Every single time I'm up here in the booth calling races, it seems like we're pulling you in to talk to you. So, talk us through what you've been seeing tonight, so far halfway through this race. Do you want to be up front for the rest of this thing, or are you going to drop to the back and kind of hang out? That way, you don't get involved in some wrecks, or, what's the game plan here?
I don't want to be anywhere near Marshall Stanley. I'm not sure if I want to be top or bottom, wherever he's at, as long as he's behind me. I don't really care. He's been an epic pusher, but the field's been it's been relatively tame. I don't know if we're going to see that here these next 27 laps, but so far it's been tame. And I haven't seen too often many aggressive maneuvers out of these guys. So I'm looking forward to the next 27 laps here.
Well, good
It's
luck
going to
to
be
you.
a show, buddy, and I know you're going to make it an even better show with, how you're driving out there tonight. So best of luck to you, and maybe we'll be talking to you at the end of this thing, Zach.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, buddy. Good luck. Well, Jake, you mentioned to me here Marshall Stanley running out of fuel. One thing that brought to mind, you saw how much him and Rhett Tucker actually ran out front. Rhett usually on the inside and Marshall up on the outside. You burn a lot more fuel being that front car, so it makes me wonder if all that time, if he wasn't just burning a little bit more and just managed to run out of here before he was supposed to.
That very well could be it, Dean. Obviously that's how, physics, aerodynamic work. When you're up front, you're using more power, obviously using more gas to keep the car going. So these guys up front are burning through some fuel. As we see our pace car dive off into pit lane, it's going to be in the hands of Daniel Keith Jr., who got spun the tires or something, because Zachary Taylor in P2 got a great launch on that
they're
restart.
going around behind him. We got one in the grass. It looks like it was the 18 car.
18 car, Bobby Anderson, one of our independent drivers tonight, unfortunately went through the grass. He's hoping for a yellow to get caught up here, but we got to move for the lead. Brad Williams going to go to the outside with his teammate, Rhett Tucker, as they come at it too. These guys want to be back up front.
Yeah, big run coming down this back straightaway, and I feel bad for Daniel Keith. You're going through, you're leading everybody back to the green flag, and then you have an accordion moment like that. As a driver, Jake, down there on field or down there on track, you obviously want to go through and win this race, but what does that do to your perception of the 23 car with the rest? He's been a good driver. He's kept it relatively clean, but does that kind of make you want to work with him a little less now after seeing that?
I definitely think you have to at this point. You can't go to the high side as they're side-by-side across the line. Brad Williams is going to be on the door of Zach Taylor, so if you're Zach, you're kind of stuck right now with Daniel Keith Jr. in that number 23. Oh, but Keith almost hits the apron there. That could have been danger zone for these guys up front. But they're side-by-side. Maybe Zach Taylor jumps to the outside. He'd want to work with the Bronco Motorsports guys, but, if I'm Zach and I try to make a move to the outside, you got two teammates lined up behind each other. They could make a move to the outside.
Ooh, that was close, Jake. That 23 car just kind of ducked below the yellow line. I don't know if he was trying to get some air there, and it looked like, I don't know if the 94 wasn't ready for it or what, but he just got squirrely, and I thought we were about to see another one there down the backstretch.
Yeah, Curtis Young right there in the 94 car did a really nice thing for that 23 car. He lifted so the 23 could collect himself, get himself back above that yellow line as they went into 3. But that's going to make the outside line here kind of get a little out in front, by half a car. But that inside line around these corners is the shortest way around Daytona International Speedway. So you see Zach Taylor move back up front a little bit, edge out in front of the 89. But these boys are ready to go. They're it's go time in some of these drivers' heads.
It definitely is, Jake, and the scary part about it here is I see a lot of these guys up here, like Aaron Gerwitz in the 09. I also see Jovi in the 3 car. You have that 8 car with some damage. These are guys that you've seen earlier in the race already go ahead and get in a big one, a big wreck here and there, and in the process of doing so, that they're out of fast repairs, so they kind of got what they got, and you've got to know where you're at this point of the race. You still have 23 laps to go, and ironically, we had about 23 drivers before that last restart who were completely incident-free. So our buddy Sean Griffith is looking like he's getting ready to pay out some good money here tonight if everything stays green.
Silverback Tax Solutions better be ready to write a big old check, but back up front, we got our points leader, Zach Taylor, in command of this race right now. The 23 made a move to the outside. Would have thought it might have brought the outside line a little closer, but I think that 23's got a little bit of front end damage up front. So it might be hurting him, especially when he leads the line on the outside here. But, these Bronco Motorsports cars are pushing him up to try to get the lead.
Yeah, the scary part with that, Jake, you got that front end damage, so, he may be having to lead this pack just to try and keep that car a little bit cool. You saw how loose he got there on the inside, so you're kind of scared to push him here, I think, if you're that Bronco car there in 89. You worry about when you touch them, what's going to happen is it looks like these Bronco cars are going to form up to go 3 wide. This could get spicy down here in turn 3.
Spicy it is, Dean. As we go into 3, we're going to be 3 wide. Those 2 Bronco Motorsports cars are Brad Williams and Rhett Tucker, along with our Truck Series winner from last night, Corey Saucier, going to go to the high side to make it 3. 3 wide here at Daytona. This is going to get good here. I hope everyone's giving each other some room. But our leader right now, Zachary Taylor, you know, like you were saying earlier, Dean, you got some guys up here that were involved in wrecks earlier that seem to have clean cars. So I have to imagine they've used a faster pair. So what the heck are they doing being up front with 21 laps to go without a faster pair? You know, if I'm in their shoes, I'm hanging out in the back, you know, relaxing, sipping on a sunset sunrise from Tropical Smoothie Cafe and just waiting for this thing to be about 5-10 laps to go.
You know, Jake, I think the big thing with it that a lot of these guys worry about, you know, you look at Daytona International Speedway, a 2.5-mile oval, and you've got these restrictor plates on these cars. And yes, the draft can make a huge difference, 5-10 miles an hour, but you don't want to hold too far back. And, you know, those guys that earlier were trying to form a second pack just to hang off, they're not now. Everybody is all within just a second or so of one another, just ready for this race to come to an end. You know, it looks chaotic now, but man, they are awfully tame in my eyes for 20 to go.
They really are, Dean Brummett. You know, they're kind of relaxed right now. There's only about 4 cars on the outside and a long line on the inside. So it's really these 4 guys up front on the outside that are kind of wanting to get to the front, trying to make some moves, and everyone else is just content with riding around the track right now. But you never know. Some guys want to run this race how they want to and be up front and, you know, feel like they've got some control. But at the end of the day, Dean, you as well as myself know as best as anyone, in a blink of an eye, your race can change in a moment.
It sure can. Top 10 at the line this time. We're going to go ahead and get everybody. I mean, look, top 10 is all within a tenth of a second of one another. You have Zachary Taylor in first, Curtis Young in second, Daniel Keith Jr. in third, Mark Brown in fourth, Brad Williams in fifth.
We definitely do, and you can see this second pack was kind of lagging off the front pack, and it's closed up. We're, you know, behind our leaders of first and second, we're about 10, 15 rows deep of 2x2. So, you know, we're 2 wide racing here at Daytona. Coming to 18 laps to go, Dean. You know, it's go time for these guys, if you ask me, how they're racing right now.
I think it is, and I think the car right now that is absolutely just surprising me to death is that 23 Daniel Keith Jr. You know, he's got the front end damage, he's got the rear damage, and, you know, that car is moving pretty well on the outside. You know, he's got a whole lot of energy built up behind him, and if those Bronco Motorsports cars can push him and he can manipulate this draft the right way, he may wind up finding himself in the lead as he tries to stick his nose out here going into turn 1. He's just not going to have what he needs to clear Zachary Taylor on the inside.
He definitely isn't. You know, it looked like he was going to get a run, but the inside was getting a big shove from Curtis Young to Zachary Taylor. So right now we're pretty dead even. I mean, you could throw a blanket over the top 20 of this pack. It's anyone's race at this point. Honestly, if you look at it, the outside line is a little bit more, you know, neatly organized. You know, it's about evenly spaced between all these cars. So as you can see, that's 68 of Mark Brown. You know, there's a little bit of a gap there in between himself and the second car in line. So that's just going to give more momentum to the outside and allow them to keep moving forward ever so slightly, lap by lap, getting to the front.
Yeah, Jake, and right now it looks like Brad Williams has got out. Oh man, he's got Daniel Keith pinches him a little bit. You got to know there is with Daniel. You know, you know when you're beat. He gets to the high side here, and he's going to get left out to dry here, Jake. And you know, he might find himself back in.
He is definitely going to be in no man's land on the outside.
Yeah, he may be able to crack the throttle just a hair and get him behind this 7 car. He's not dropped down just yet, but I think that's exactly where he's heading for.
And now we got some new guys moving to the high side. The 3 car, Jovi Sagiped, trying to make himself a run to the front on the outside in front of Brad Williams. You know, I just want to point out, I can see, you know, one of the cars in the middle of the pack right now has 21 laps of fuel left, and we still have 17 laps. So it makes you wonder, Dean, Zachary Taylor's been up front this entire run. You know, if a guy in the middle of the pack has 21 laps of fuel, being up front, you know, it burns more fuel. So you got to make sure you're checking your fuel, you know, and saying, all right, if I stay up front, I'm not making it. I need to move back and get in the draft to save myself some fuel. Because right now, Dean, if you come down pit lane under green flag racing, you've basically wrote, you know, your race off. It's going to be tough to come back from that.
It sure will, Jake, and you know that's when you got to kind of wonder, am I okay being the second as Jovi makes a lead? Wow, look at that move he puts on Zach Taylor there down in turn 3. Jake, you know, I'm wondering here if there's something wrong with Daniel Keith Jr. He just went from leading the race He fell back real bad after he got shuffled out, as Jovi puts a huge block there on the 14. But Daniel fell all the way back.
Oh, Zachary Taylor's going to get caught in the middle, and he's going to start falling back like we just saw with the 23, unless he gets some help in the middle. Yeah, and like you were saying, Dean, Jovi Sagipet driving that number 3 using the same number font as the late, great Dale Earnhardt. So he's learning lessons learned from Dale right now on this track. As you see Ryan Ducombe pull up to the back bumper of Zachary Taylor down the backstretch. So we're going to be three wide racing here in the middle of 3 and 4. Zachary Taylor's going to get a run from that push from Ryan.
And Zachary Taylor here on the outside, he's going to make a big run here. And they're going to come together in the triangle, and they all save it. Again, it's going to let the 94 on the inside come up here with the momentum to take the lead.
They definitely touched there. You got 2 teammates now, bumper to bumper, in that middle lane of Ryan Ducombe and Jovi Sagipet. Hey, this racing is the intensity level has all of a sudden turned up for us, Dean. This is getting interesting right now.
Yeah, someone must have told these guys there might be rain on the way, because I'm watching these guys 3 deep. They were 3 wide, about 5 and 6 rows deep. And you know, you're going to run out of space sooner or later, but I'll tell you what, that's the joy of these Xfinity guys, Jake. These guys have the experience. They know what they're doing. I personally would be giving just a little bit more room, but, man, there's a trophy coming up here as we come to 13 laps to go.
There definitely is, Dean, and, you know, up front it's kind of single file for the first 4 cars until it's 2 wide behind them. So these 4 are trying to just stay in line to keep their momentum going, keep their spots, you know, don't let anyone get to your outside. And right now you got 2 cars from H2K Motorsports up front. So Joseph DuPont, the team owner, has got to be pretty pumped right now watching this race right now, Dean.
Yeah, and it looks like these guys finally kind of realized how crazy it was getting. They're trying to catch their breath. You got about 5, 6, 7 cars deep on the inside lane, just getting single file. There's still a lot of momentum to be had on the outside lane. As we have trouble, turn 3. 1 car goes around. Collect around.
Yellow not been thrown yet, though, but I guarantee you we got cars hard in the outside wall, and the yellow finally comes out. The 32 of Troy Techmeyer got spun around, and at that point in the middle of the pack, there's not much room for everyone to go.
Oh, man, Jake, that's where that was coming down to the end there. You know, everybody trying to get every single ounce of what they can, but let's see what happened here with this Sandwich Man Racing Memorabilia Rec replay.
It was Rhett Tucker that got to the inside of him, I believe.
Well,
so we shift our camera angle there. You can see it happen, and afterwards, after they made the initial contact, 32 went around in the middle of turns 3 and 4 at Daytona. And just unfortunately for these guys behind them, just there's nowhere to go because you're going so fast. You don't know where that car is going to go because it's spinning like a top. And some of these guys just, you know, they get involved and tag the 32 car.
Man, I want to see here if Marshall Stanley, after we watch this replay, if he managed to get through it. I saw his car come by on the inside, and I'd just love to see from his point of view what he saw going through this wreck, if he managed to make it past or not.
Yeah, I don't see him get – I didn't see him. You know, maybe I missed him. I believe he did get through it.
All right, here we go. Let's see what he saw from his onboard. He sees the smoke. He begins to move down, hits the brakes, gets down below the yellow line. And this is the scary part, Jake. You still have cars coming down from the top side. He sees them coming. He decides to go through the grass. Oh, man. Gets on the brakes
drive,
just
Dean.
in
What
time.
a drive.
Man, he made that 25 car look proud tonight, didn't he?
Oh, he definitely did. You know, Marshall Stanley clearly can drive even if it's in grass. I know he'd run some rallycross stuff on here on iRacing, so he definitely took some lessons learned from rallycross and brought him to the Xfinity car here at Daytona to avoid that wreck. You know, that's huge for him right now. You know, with only 11 laps to go, or 11 laps to go now, we just hit lap 50, so that's big for him.
Now, Jake, are we going to see any guys come down here for fuel at this point of the race? I mean, you've got 11 laps to go. You saw what happened with Marshall Stanley earlier. Oh, man, look at that wreck there. Man, it's not so much the first one.
Rhett Tucker as well as Troy, because Rhett was really in command of this race early on. You know, he's trying to get his way back up front, and just, you know, that's super speedway racing right there for you.
It definitely is, Jake, and it makes you wonder here, are these guys going to come down for fuel? who has fast repairs left. If you're going to go ahead and come down for fuel, I mean, you may as well go ahead and take the last set of tires that you have here to work through this draft. And Jake, speaking of draft here, we've got the Speed Racing Network All-Star Race that's going to be coming up here. Draft day on May the 1st. The qualifying race is a week later on Saturday, May the 8th. And then Sunday, the All-Star Race going through at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And what's absolutely amazing about this is, whereas your big-name drivers, you only get one series that has an All-Star Race. You're going to have 4 different team captains that are going to be picking drivers out of the Truck Series that we broadcasted last night, the Xfinity Series here tonight, and Jake, the guys that you and I are most familiar with on Sunday evenings.
Exactly, Dean. You know, there's 4 captains for the 4 teams. They'll pick 7 drivers from each of the 3 series, and then there's going to be the 2 qualifying races. That's going to be two of the teams, so one captain's team and then another going head-to-head. The top 20 drivers from both of those qualifier races, no matter what teams they're on, move on to the All-Star race, which is going to be Sunday, May 9th. And then at that point, you know, it's go for the win for your team. So this has created a really big buzz. You know, everyone's talking about it all the time. You know, who's going to get picked where? You know, who's going to be the number 1 overall pick? Who's going to be Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick of the draft? But, you know, Tom Brady was picked towards the end of a draft, and look what he's done in the NFL. So anything is possible.
Well, hopefully so, Jake. You know, just like Tom Brady, I would hope that I get picked towards the end of the draft and manage to have a great team around me my entire career. But as we go up front here, this is a quickie caution, 2x2 already. Looks like that we're going to get a restart here real quick with about 9 laps to go here at Daytona.
We definitely are, and you know, to your point earlier, we saw a lot of guys, you know, go down pit lane, whether it's to get fuel or a fast repair. You know, if you didn't have to go down and repair damage or use a fast repair, you know, I think you stay out because, you know, we're under yellow, so you can save quite a bit of fuel. And, you know, cautions breed cautions, Dean, in motorsports. So, you know, the more yellows we have, the more opportunity to save fuel, so you should be good to go. The only thing I'd be afraid of is if we have to, you know, go through some green-white checkers. That could cause some of these guys up front that stayed out to, you know, have to play the good old, you know, do I come down under a yellow for the green-white checkered or not?
Absolutely, Jake. And the pace car is going to turn off here. Jovi Sagapet is going to be leading this race to the green. No fast repairs as they get on the gas pedal here. 2x2, the 7 car on the outside. That is going to be Ryan Ducombe manages to stay with him. Actually nudges him just a little bit past the start-finish line as these cars form up 2x2 heading to turn 1 through the gears at Daytona.
It's going to be interesting to see what these 2 H2K Motorsports drivers do. If Ryan and Jovi, you know, their teammates, do they sit here and, you know, stay in control of both the inside-outside lane? That way, you know, one of them wins, or does one of them drop down in front of the other? That way they're pushing each other. But I could tell you right now, if I'm the 7 car of Ryan Ducombe, I'm a little nervous with that 14 car behind me. You know, he likes to be aggressive and make a move for the win. So, you know, you could see him pop out to the outside if there's room to make a 3-wide there, or if you leave a little bit of room to the to the middle, you know, he's going to put his nose there and take a 3-wide, Dean.
He sure will, Jake, and these guys are 2x2 the entire way back. Now, 2 cars I want to highlight real quick as we hit the 8 to go mark at Daytona. I called it before the race, Marshall Stanley and Brandon Browning as 2 of my favorites to win this race. And look at these guys. Brandon has driven all the way from the back of the field. He's the 4th car on the inside lane. He's got Marshall Stanley right behind him. If these lines open up just a little bit to potentially go 3 wide and move, as we see back here, the 94 car coming 3 wide through the middle, wanting to form this lane.
Hitting the apron.
Got one guy ducking out there, but Jake, I'm telling you, right now, even with 8 laps to go, I still just can't pick a winner in this race, but I feel good about my 2 picks.
You're definitely right. I mean, right now it's like sitting at a casino table playing roulette and watching the ball bounce and bounce around, and, you know, that's kind of how it's going to be of who the winner of this race is going to be, because, you know, the leader can get turned 10th.
Oh, we got the contact on the front straightaway. He saves it. Who is that?
We got a car that got shot to the inside, almost clipped the grass, but comes up. Guys give them room to get back on the track, and they're still green flag racing. I believe that's one of the tank racing cars that had that little slide to the inside.
That was Emerson Arden in the 57.
Exactly. Yep, Emerson Arden of.
Oh, we got contact again down the backstretch. The 35 and 94 come together. 94 gets shoved below the yellow.
They are beating and banging everywhere, Dean. It's going to be a demo derby with how they're driving right now.
It definitely is, Jake. You've got all your cards on the table. You hope that you got a fast repair just in case. 7 laps to go here at Daytona as it will quickly become 6. On the outside, you have Ryan Ducombe being pushed by Zachary Taylor. Big momentum swing coming here, and at the line, Ducombe will lead this lap.
He definitely will, and I just want to point out that third guy in the outside line is Cody Madden. So one of the Madden brothers that raced last night in the Truck Series race is finding himself in 5th position right now. We got 6 laps to go. So that's always good to see, a guy jumping up, hey, running well in the trucks, and now here he is in the Xfinity Series.
3 wide corner
right
down the
now,
back straightaway. Patterson to the middle in between Rhett Tucker and Marshall Stanley, and now to the outside of Brandon Browning. This line is going to get formed up very quickly as Ducombe jumps down into the lead in front of Jovi Sagapad.
I can tell you right now, I think there's a little strategy with these H2K Motorsports guys. That one of them gets clear of the other, and then they switch. That allows.
Oh, Jake, this isn't going to work. Here we go. Big wreck on the front straightaway.
Corey Saucier in the 24, hard in the outside lane. Oh my gosh, we got Marshall Stanley on his roof. Carnage everywhere. Dean, cars spinning, flying through the air. They're still wrecking Dean Brummett.
Oh my goodness, Jake. That was, unfortunately, I saw that one coming there. It looked much like an earlier wreck that we had. We're going to go to the Sandwich Man Racing Memorabilia Wreck replay. I believe the 8 car just kind of stuck his nose maybe where it didn't belong, tried to stick it down to the inside, almost 4 wide through the front straightaway, and that took quite a few contenders with it here. I wonder how many had fast repairs and who didn't. The 8 car's to the inside of Rhett Tucker, outside of Brandon Browning, and he moves up a little bit. 35 begins to move, and he sticks his nose in, and well, actually, with it, I take it back, Patterson. I apologize. The 35 came down just a little bit across his nose, and that's the unfortunate part of
Stanley rolling down the front stretch. You saw right there, man. Big hits, a lot of places in that accident, man. A lot of guys gonna have damage. Hopefully, some of these guys still got a fast repair.
4 wide there at one point, Jake. I don't know if you could see that on the left side of the screen, but yeah, 4 wide is not going to work here at Daytona. You'll get away with it at Talladega, but oh man, what a spin for Marshall Stanley.
Marshall Stanley out there doing some
and it keeps going.
Flips.
Did you see that? Look at that.
Oh,
Push the clutch in.
4, Dean.
He dumped the clutch, fired the engine back, and just kept going. Hopefully that man's got him a fast repair left.
That was epic, Dean. I mean, he flipped, kept it going.
Let's see if
that
it was
a big
onboard.
wreck, though.
He's crying a little bit here, dumps it, goes. Look at that. You could not ask for that to have been any cleaner of a wreck. And while he's missing the front end.
Dean, I'm getting word. All 5 judges have given Marshall Stanley a 10 out of 10 on that flip.
Oh, that is awesome. I'm actually hearing, though, that the Russian judge gave him a 7.2. So, I mean, you can't please everybody here, Jake.
Of course you can't. We got 5 guys. The top 5 right now seem to avoid the wreck with minimal damage. A few other guys might have missed it as well here. It looks like. We got a car in 6th place right now which is Brandon Browning with no front end. I think he's got a fast repair left. Hopefully he does. That way he can get a clean car right here and go back after this.
He missed his pit box. Let's see. Boom, there he goes. He's got it. All right, he's going to go back out and give him.
One of your picks right there still has a clean car. And, that's the thing you want right now, because at this point,
I'm watching Marshall Stanley right now.
No holding back here.
I'm watching Marshall Stanley. He made it to pit road. I don't know if that engine's running at all on this car, but I'm watching him just to see when he hits his pit box right here, if this car resets or if he's done for the day. He's getting ready to pull in here in just a second.
Here he comes to his box. Not showing it, but...
Oh, no, Jake. That looks like that is a driver with no fast repairs. That hood did not slap back onto that car. One of my picks for the night, and Marshall Stanley, great run last week at Daytona, but unfortunately you're not supposed to turn right this week, and he turned right, left, upside down, back, forward, left, right, BA, select, start, and unfortunately he didn't get his 30 extra Konami code lives tonight.
Hey, you never know, though. You could have no hood and still win this race if there's a huge wreck coming to the white like we just saw, but, we got 3 laps to go right now, so this next restart is going to be our first attempt at a green-white checkered. So this is it's go time. I mean, you can't wait now. You got to go when we get back to green flag racing. Again, you got two H2K Motorsports cars that are going to be leading each of these lanes. You know, they're in big control of this thing unless someone wants to go make it 3 wide to the outside or push the issue through the middle.
Yeah, Jake, and one thing that we definitely like to push here, as you can tell, is charities at Speed Racing Network. And coming up, we've got the St. Jude's race, the Revved Up for the Cause for St. Jude. That's going to be Friday, February 26th here at Daytona, 9:30 Eastern to 8:30 Central Time. That's going to be much like this race, a fixed setup. It's going to be $20 entry fee with $200 going to first, $100 going to second, and $50 going to third place. So a podium finish is going to be awesome. And for any prospective drivers out there, you can sign up on Facebook at Revved Up for the Cause. And, like I said, we love our charities here. We want to make sure that we can take care of everybody that we can, especially the little ones, the ones that can't seem to help themselves, no matter how much we would love for them to be able to, Jake. They've got their guardian angels that are out there, and they may be driving in circles this evening, but we definitely pray for all these little ones.
Of course, we definitely do. And just 2 points also there. I believe I saw a post by Sean Kozer, who's putting this on. There's about 8 or 9 spots left in this thing. So if you're interested, you better go and sign up real quick. And then also, if you're the hard charger in that race, you will win yourself a butt kicker as well. So, there's a lot of prizes in that race as well. So, as well as a sim box. So, again, a ton of money on the line for charity, things like that, as well as you could come home with, some prizes if you do well enough in that race. So, go check that out, sign up if that's something you're into. And, it's going to be a great event. But, we're going to have a great event right here, Dean, with this restart.
This is what it comes down to here, Jake. Green-white checker, number 1. We will have up to 3 attempts if we do not make this around green. Jovi Sagaped here in the lead. Ryan Ducom in second. And we're going to wait here. Jovi's waiting. He's on the throttle, and he's going to get a big push from behind from Zachary Taylor. It looks like here that, Zach just gets into the back of him here, and they are just going to move towards turn 1. But Ryan Ducom is holding very, very steady on this outside lane, getting ready to maybe have some Bronco help from behind.
He definitely is. The two H2K Motorsports cars are trying to control both lanes, but you got to be careful if you're the 7. You don't want the 14 to get clear beyond the backstretch to jump up in front of you. That's not going to happen. It's going to be the 7 and the 3 car of Jovi and Ryan, leading this race up front for H2K Motorsports.
Trouble on the backstretch.
They sit up, and now they're
not save it
again.
We are around big wreck into turn 3. We are going to go under caution once more. The 18 car around, the 23 around. 92. Woo! That was scary on that one there. I didn't know if he was going to miss him that time.
It'd probably be a Cole Brown if you're the 92 car. A lot of cars got tore up there. Michael Madden involved in that. You don't like to see that. The top runner, one of the top runners in the truck series, get involved in one of these late cautions. Well, hey, we're going to re-rack them, Dean, and we're going to go for it again.
We are. We're definitely going to take a look here with the Sandwich Man Racing Memorabilia Wreck replay just to see what happens. I think, once again, it's a byproduct of trying to get what you can get here at the end of these races. Let's see what happens.
We definitely will. Looks like the 20 car of Michael Mann was on the outside, got a big run behind that purple car, tried to make it 3 wide, and unintentionally got hit by, another Rev Racing driver in the 68, and around they all went, and it's just kind of like a funnel at that point. Cars go up the track, cars come down the track, cars are trying to get through it, and it's just calamity corner here in turn 3 at Daytona.
Yeah, Jake, and one of the big things that you always have to watch out for with these wrecks is, just being that last guy to miss it. Look here, he gets turned, and he's almost saved it, but then just, boom, he gets turned down the track. Carnage, cars going everywhere, sliding past him. He's trying to hold his brake to not slide back up onto the track, but so many of those guys back there, they may not see that smoke until it's too late. Their spotters may not call it out to them, but we're going to re-rack them here for another green-white checker. Let's take a real quick look through our top 10 that's left right now at this point, Jake. Start with Ryan Ducom in first, Jovi Sagaped in second, Zachary Taylor in third, Brad Williams in fourth, Gregory Joyner there in fifth, Brandon Browning back up to sixth after his incident earlier in his fresh race car. Dylan Patterson there in seventh. Nathaniel Mon on the outside in eighth. Mark Brown going to be in ninth, and Emerson Ardon there in 10th.
Great run through the top 10 there, Dean. Just going to shout out Brandon Browning right now. would be the hard charger. He started in 37th and he's in 6th place right now, so he's gained 31 positions. But as we've seen, anything could happen right here. But hopefully he makes it towards the end, or to the end of the race, and he'd be the hard charger of this race. I'm listening to the radio right now, Dean. Some of these guys are getting worried about fuel, so that could come into play here if we get another yellow before we hit the white flag. And these guys got to start worrying about, running out of fuel. And again, with that yellow we just had, Dean, that took out the three final guys that had 0x in this race. So no more clean drivers, in this race. It's been that kind of race tonight here at Daytona International Speedway.
Yeah, Jake, just, crazy event here this evening. I'm going through, kind of looking through the field, trying to look into some onboards. I'm not really showing a lot of guys here trying to clutch their cars. And what this means for a lot of folks who may have never driven a manual transmission vehicle in their life, you can save a ton of fuel by cutting your vehicle off, letting it just kind of drift there in neutral. And then putting your car in gear, you let off the clutch with the ignition on, and the car itself will turn over with the actual power that is put to the engine. And none of these guys are saving. So for these guys that are worried about fuel, this is the time to be saving. I think the math checks out, Jake, to one lap under caution can save you 2 or 3 laps of green flag fuel. Is that correct?
I would answer that question, but here at RSR, apparently we have bad calculators, so we're not going to give an answer to that one. But I do believe you are correct, though. It's about 2 to 3 laps you'd save with doing that under yellow. But, we pointed out that there's no clean drivers left in this race. No one was 0x, but just got a text from Silverback Tax Solutions, and, they'll be giving, some help towards Sadie, so you don't have to worry about that if you're bummed out about that. So, Sean Griffith at Silverback Tax Solutions is going to definitely help out the cause with the Sadie's All-Out Fight 150 tonight. We're lights are off the pace car, Dean. So you know what that means when they come out of 4 and wait for that pace car to dive off.
They are, Jake, and I want to go on board real quick with Ryan Ducombe just from the helmet cam. Actually, I'm mistaken. He is absolutely clutching this car. You can actually see it on his tachometer and hear it. See the tack drop there. He's shutting this car off, so he's a little worried about this fuel. And I just saw Robert A. Moyer actually go to the garage with the DNF here, and unfortunately he won't be around here for green-white checker number 2. So, Jake, the time is now. You're the car out front. Do you have the lead, or did Jake Rowell show up and fill up your fuel tank and make your calculator for you there?
I think you got to go for it at this point. I would have to imagine he's just trying to save enough fuel. This is green-white checker number 2 of 3. He's probably just trying to save enough for a third one, but we're going to find out. I think it's going to get a little X Games mode here. Things might get a little wild and have some more carnage as Ryan Ducombe on the gas pedal. He's going to get his teammates side by side with him as they cross the stripe here on the front stretch at Daytona International Speedway. 2 laps to go, Dean.
Nobody going to Gapplebee's just yet here, Jake. It is 2 wide, nose to tail, as on that outside lane, Brandon Browning moves up. Is he going to try to make this 3 wide down the back straightaway?
Brandon Browning definitely probably should. Woody, I'm not sure. We will see here out of 2. Looks like he's going to stay in line. It's going to give these 2 H2K Motorsports even more control of this race if this thing hits the white flag. We got a car trying to go to the outside behind Brandon, but it looks like they're not going to form up to have enough momentum to make it work as we head into 3.
Jake, we might accidentally hit this white flag. We might avoid green-white checker number 3 coming down through turns 3 and 4 down to the start-finish line at Daytona International Speedway. White flag goes in the air. 1 lap to go at Daytona.
The white flag is out here at Daytona International Speedway as our leaders head into 1. Ryan Ducombe and Jovi Sagipet out of the same stable of H2K Motorsports. They're getting big shoves from behind as they come through 1 and 2. It's going to bring them out to the back stretch. It's going to be a drag race down the back, Dean. I don't know who's going to do it, where the runs are going to come. And here comes a move to the outside. Zachary Taylor getting a shove by Brandon Browning. It's going to leave Jovi Sagipet stuck in the middle.
They're going to be 3 wide here heading for turn 3 and 4. Brandon Browning going to try to get a big shove as here we've got the 89 car. Brad Williams going for the lead. He's going to move to the middle. Sagipet going to be pushing him as they go around.
Aaron Gerwitz tags Jovi Sagipet. That's going to get him loose behind him. It's going to be Ryan Ducombe to the line. He's going to win the Sadie's All-Out Fight 150. And Gregory Joyner in second place pushes him to the win. Ryan Ducombe out of H2K Motorsports as we got cars still blowing up, coming to the line. Brandon Browning not going to get there without an engine blown, but Ryan Ducombe won this race.
He sure did, Jake, and that's always the sting of defeat here at Daytona when you're someone like that back 3 wide with Brandon Browning. As we take one final look at a Sandwich Man Racing memorabilia rec replay just to see what formed up here. These cars were 3 wide, just trying to get every ounce that you could here. If you're Brandon Browning, you're not running for points. You want that trophy. We're just going to see what happens as they come through turns 3 and 4.
We definitely are. You saw the run coming from the outside or in the middle. I think guys just were using up space, and unfortunately they got into each other. Aaron Gerwitz got into the left quarter panel of the 3, and that sent Brandon Browning to the outside wall, and you just see the whole field behind him go everywhere and anywhere, trying to avoid it, just not lifting, getting to that line, because that's the most important part. Jovi, he got turned, but he's still wheeling it through the grass. That's an epic crash right there off of 4.
Well, Jake, I'm just very, very happy that I'm not the man having to pay for these race cars tonight. And, kind of going back just a hair there, I think with Gerwitz, that was nothing malicious. I believe, if anything, that was our famous favorite word of netcode. Oh, my goodness. Look at Dylan Patterson.
Oh, my gosh.
He went for a ride.
Hard lick for the 8 car, man.
Can we go?
A big old wreck.
Can Race Control get an onboard of poor Mr. Patterson here? I just want to see what it looked like when you ride a rocket ship to the moon.
And there's our production truck down in the lot underneath us, in the parking area below us. Let's see Dylan Patterson's ride. It's going to look like he's at Universal Studios Islands of Adventure, going up and over, gets it turned around and wheels it through the grass. I mean, that's the same kind of thing we just saw with Marshall Stanley not too long ago, Dean.
It sure is. And, Ryan Ducombe here, even though we're on the 20th anniversary of the loss of Dale Earnhardt, he's down here giving us an Alan Kulwicki Polish victory lap as he celebrates here at Daytona. Looking here, he wound up first, like you said, Ryan Ducombe. Gregory Joyner in second, Brad Williams in third. So 2 podium finishes there for the Sandwich Man group, just not the 2 podium spots that you want the most.
Definitely not, but at the end of the day, to come home second and third, 2 guys in the top 3 for your team, that's going to help out the team points big right there. I think we're going to see Ryan Ducombe burn it down. Nope, he's going to shut it off and take it to the virtual garage. Man, what a race, Dean. That was just as intense as last night, if you ask me.
That was, and I'll tell you what, this top 10 is top 20 as a whole. You got a lot of names that, honestly, you didn't mention too awful much through the race. You had Ryan Ducombe, obviously your winner, Gregory Joyner second, Brad Williams in third. Aaron Gerwitz managed, even after that little contact, to come home fourth, and Emerson Arden rounding out the top 5.
And in 6th place, we got Cody Madden, an independent driver. He ran in the truck race last night. Great finish for him, jumping up to the Xfinity Series. 7th place, we got Devin Zimmerman out of Tank Racing. 8th place, Stan Hausman out of Team SRN. Good finish for him. 9th place, we got Kevin Winker out of R2D2 Motorsports. In top 10, Nathaniel Mon out of Bronco Motorsports. So there you go. You got 3 guys out of Bronco Motorsports in the top 10. That's going to be a good points day for them as a team.
It sure will, Jake. And, like I said, it's survival of the fittest here at Daytona. The fittest and the ones who can grip the wheel and thread the needles just the most here. And I tell you what, we're going to go down here onto pit road. It looks like we managed to possibly get Brad Williams up here into the booth to go through and discuss that awesome 3rd place finish. Brad Williams, this is Dean and Jake up here in the Speed Racing Network booth. How are you doing this evening with that top 3 finish, sir?
Yeah, good, guys. Thanks. Really appreciate it.
You had a heck of a run tonight, Brad. You came home 3rd place. Just talk to us. Let the viewers know about the broadcast. You started 22nd and wound up P3. What was it like coming through the field tonight?
Yeah, no, I think just avoiding that first wreck and not getting caught up in anything all night was kind of what helped out a lot.
We see the car there. Looks like that the hood had a few better days. I love looking at that Shoney's paint scheme that you guys have as a native West Virginian. It always makes me hungry, but man, you managed to drive through it. The beautiful green and black and white paint scheme. Anybody that you'd like to thank here for this podium finish this evening?
Yeah, it's just great to have Sandwich Man Racing on board, especially this week with them going to Daytona and being aboard a car down there. And just really appreciate their support. And then Bronco Motorsports for putting together a great team. And yeah, it's great to have Shoney's on board now. We have a lot of good sponsors supporting this team.
It definitely is, man. It's awesome to see you guys manage to pull some sponsorship like that. And, when you go through and you're pulling these top 5 and podium finishes each and every week, it's not going to be hard to continue to pull more. So, Brad Williams, congratulations this evening, buddy. Top 3.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. It's a really good run by our team tonight. Looking forward to the races ahead.
Definitely was, Brad. Hell of a run tonight, and have a good rest of your night with your team.
Thanks.
Well, Jake, that was awesome just to hear from one Bronco driver, and right here on the grips, the initial piece here in second. That first Bronco guy to come across, we have Gregory Joyner here up in the Speed Racing Network booth. Greg, this is Dean and Jake. How you doing this evening, buddy?
Man, I'm doing a lot better than I thought I would before this race started.
Yeah, buddy, I got to imagine coming into this race, you were probably a little nervous. You know how these things go here on restrictor plate tracks. You started in the back of the pack 24th, just like your teammate Brad behind us. What was your guys' game plan? Were you trying to hang out in the back? I know last season that's kind of what Bronco did. What was your guys' strategy throughout the race?
Brad was a little on the fence. I know that Rhett wanted to be up front. He wanted to get that halfway money, but he barely missed it, I think. But me and Nathan Mon, we wanted to just hang around the back, and I thought I waited too late. There's about 15 laps to go, and I told Nathan it was time to go, and we couldn't go anywhere because it was too wide, and I wasn't going to try to make it 3 wide. And big wreck happened, and I made it through, and I still hadn't used my fast repair, but I knew I had a little right front damage, and I don't know, man. Coming to that checker flag, I didn't know what was going to happen, but I'm stoked that we got 3 in the top 10, and I think Rhett finished in 12th, so I'm pretty stoked with that, especially at Daytona.
Exactly, Logan. Watching you the whole night, you were avoiding the X Games mode behind you all throughout the race, and you kept the car clean. So obviously it's going to be great for Bronco Motorsports. And what does that mean for you guys as a team? You guys were second place in the team standings. 4 of you guys in the top 12 is going to really catapult you up the list.
Yeah, and want to give a shout out to my teammate Nicholas Goen that wasn't here tonight. He had to work, so he missed a good one. But we should be hunting down the lead now, and I'm pretty excited for that.
Well, definitely hate to see Nicholas not make it, but if nothing else, you know what? I think we'll just go ahead and let him know that he's the only person who managed to not be in a wreck this evening. Kind of hard to do it when you're not on track, but, man, just so much carnage out there. Did you have a fast repair left at all at the end of the race?
I actually did, and I'm so glad that I didn't on that last big wreck on the front stretch. I think I was like 20th place, and I came out like 8th, I think it was. I did tap a car a little bit. And I was wondering if I needed to come in or not, and I just gambled, and I stayed out. I didn't know if I had any right front damage or not, but I looked at my RPMs, and I was still idled on it at 2,000, so I was like, I'm just going to go for it, because if I'd have came in and got my fast repair, I don't think I'd have ended up where I did.
Well, man, it played out perfectly for you there. And Greg, Mr. Joyner, just wanted to let you know here, congrats on that second place finish this evening. You guys came from way far in the back of the field, but awesome podium finish for you guys tonight. I'm going to let you go ahead and get back down to your team. Congrats.
All right, before you let me go, I'd like to thank everybody at Bronco Motorsports, Sandwich Man Racing. It's awesome that we got a sponsor on the Daytona 500 car. Y'all check out Joey Gase on Sunday. And I'd also like to thank our new sponsor, Shoney's. Y'all go check them out and go have a bite to eat there. But thanks for everything you guys do. Do an awesome job with the broadcast.
Appreciate it, Logan, man. Have a good rest of your night with your team. I know you guys are going to be amped up, so enjoy it.
Thanks, guys.
Well, Jake, that's
All
2
right.
out of the 3. I think Victory Lane's the only place left to go. Let's go ahead and go down here to Daytona Victory Lane, one of the most cherished places on the planet, with Mr. Ryan Ducombe, our winner here this evening.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Man, I got to say, Ryan, you've got to be pretty pumped up after coming home, first place, winning at Daytona. We saw you and Jovi working a lot together there towards the last probably 15 laps to go. Was your guys' plan to kind of control both of the lanes? Or were you guys going to drop down together and, kind of push one another to the, first and second spot?
So before that the initial caution came out, we were going to try just to control both lanes. But once we got to the green-white checkered, I think there was only really 2 or 3 cars behind us that were full power. You know, I know there was Zach Taylor was there, and then I think Brad Williams. I know there was a couple others, but we just wanted to control the lanes, and then at the end there, it just Joby kind of, I think he tried to make a block, and I'm not really sure what happened, but.
Well, Ryan, you know, the thing is at days in, you hate it for your teammate, but you get to go through here and hoist the trophy in Daytona Victory Lane. You know, let me ask you here, in terms of winning races, me and Jake have had this discussion many a times. It's always fun to go out and win your 1.5-mile tracks, your short tracks, your road courses. But when it comes to winning a plate race like this, especially on a night like tonight where we go through and try our darndest to raise as much money as we can for Miss Sadie, how does this one rank just in terms of everything you have to get through to cross that finish line first?
I mean, it means a lot. And first of all, my $50 winnings are going to go directly to that charity. So I'm not going to take any of that. It's going to go all to the charity. And then, I mean, it feels great. I mean, there's no other race I'd rather win than this one.
Definitely, buddy. You know, or sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
I was just going to say I love super speedways, and I mean, just with the charity and everything going towards Sadie, I mean, it couldn't ask for a better win.
Definitely, you know, we're watching your parade lap or your victory lap here. You know, I gotta ask, what you know, was like your one of your dad or your parents, you know, an Alan Kowicki fan, or is it just because of the correlation of you driving the 7? You know, what made you pull out the old Polish victory lap?
Well, I didn't really put down a good burnout, so I just decided to run backwards.
Fair enough.
Well, Ryan, if you run like you did tonight, I promise you'll get to master those burnouts here with several more wins. Anybody that you'd like to thank this evening here in terms of this win at the World Center of Racing?
I just want to thank my teammates, Jovi, Josh, Dustin, and Troy. Had some fortunate incidents, but I want to thank you guys in the broadcast. You guys do a hell of a job every week. It's very clean, very professional. And I just want to thank everyone out there, all the fans and everything that were watching tonight. It was definitely a great race.
It definitely was, Ryan. You know, again, congratulations. It gives me a little pain, you know, on the side of, you know, in the ribs, because I was trying to get you to make the jump and join our team at RSR for the Cup Series, but nonetheless, you're down here in the Xfinity Series and you're winning races. I knew you were fast, and it's awesome to see you here in Victory Lane, you know, only in week 5, so it's great to see. I know it's going to build yourself some momentum going forward for yourself through the rest of the season, as well as your team at H2K Motorsports.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. It was a great race tonight.
Sure was, Ryan. Congratulations again. We're going to go ahead and get you back down to your team. Go enjoy yourself, and please, for the love of all that's good, don't let us catch any videos of you celebrating like Tom Brady was this week, please.
That was awesome, wasn't it?
It was, buddy.
Was.
That is a side of Tom Brady that I have never seen.
None of us ever have, and Ryan, like I said, you know, the side of you winning this race this evening was just an awesome one, man. Congratulations once again.
I appreciate it, guys. Have a great night.
Hey, thank you, buddy. Good
job,
job. Jake, what a race this evening, buddy. We got to see crashes and bashes and a little bit of everything here this evening. And, you know, next week we won't quite have the plates on, but we go to one of my personal favorite tracks, one I ran very, very well at last year in Mid-South Madness, the Homestead Miami Speedway for next week's Magic City 150.
Exactly, and that's going to be on air February 18th, Thursday at 9 p.m. Central. So that's the next time you'll see these Xfinity Series drivers on track. But, you know, our next race, we got our Cup Series, which you and I obviously race in, Sunday night. So the Sadie's All Out Fight 200 at Daytona International Speedway. It's going to be Sunday night, Valentine's night at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Central. So come check that out. It's going to be 100 lap, or it's going to be 80 laps here. Sorry, a little quick math there. 80 laps of hard racing, no fast repairs or anything like that, Dean. So, you know, it's going to be intense all throughout the race, especially if there's some big wrecks like we've seen so far from the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series. You know, it's going to be one to watch.
Yeah, Jake, I think whoever's going to win that race Sunday night, they're going to be, they're going to have to definitely be smart here. It's going to be a long race if you don't. If you go through and you manage to get yourself wrecked, lap number one, you might manage to make a few spots up, but man, you've got to be there at the end. And Jake, I tell you here, just in terms of everything this evening, we want to thank everybody again for tuning in to the broadcast. Once again, want to remind you here, this was the Sadie's All Out Fight 150 here at Daytona International Speedway to benefit Sadie through her fight, battle, and her family's help through battling leukemia here.
Exactly. And, we thank you all the fans and everyone out there watching us on YouTube and Facebook. So come check us out Sunday night on Speed Racing Network. We thank you all here from SRN. And remember, go faster.